Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl again, Monica, and this is my YouTube channel. In here we talk about fun stuff from migrating to Australia, motherhood, parenting, and in today's video I want us to talk about something that specifically will help ladies a lot, and of course men can also listen up because it might be of help to them as well. Now I want us to think about you're in Australia and you've fallen pregnant, you've just realized you're pregnant, or you think you feel like you're pregnant and you don't know where to go, you don't know where to start. Now this video, I'm here to help you. I'm helping you from a point of experience and not from a midwifery or midwife perspective. I have had two experiences, so I think I would be in a good position to actually share with you how my experience was here when pregnant and tell you what you would expect. And remember, I had two pregnancies. I've been pregnant twice here, and both pregnancies have been different. The cases have been different depending on your visa. If you're an immigrant, depending on the visa that you are, the case, or let's say for example, let me give example of a student and a permanent resident visa. If you're pregnant, you're a student and someone else is on a permanent resident, there are going to be slight differences, especially on the financial aspect, because if you're a student and you have a private insurance, or you have an international student health insurance, then that would mean that the hospital will be sending you invoices so that you can send the invoice to your health cover so that the health cover can pay the hospital. But if you're a permanent resident, you realize that you don't receive any invoice and the hospital pays everything for you. If you're a student, sometimes the health covers or the health insurances, depending on which one you have, some will not pay everything. Again, when I was pregnant the first time, I had been in Australia for I think 2-3 years, and I had been on with the health insurance for the 3 years that I was here. That is the reason. So they covered my bills 100%. If the same insurance, the same insurance cover, if you get pregnant and you've been with them for less than 12 months, they don't cover everything. Now, it is very important that if you're on a student visa or any other visas that are not permanent, that you speak with your health insurance or your health covers to see what percentage they cover, because if you're not prepared, you might find yourself with a very big bill. Because to be honest, every appointment I would go to, there was nothing less than $250 for one appointment. So you can imagine, and you have so many to attend. They have so many appointments booking for you, so you have to attend all of them. And so if you don't have a good health insurance that is going to cover that, you're going to really dig deep into your pocket. And if you don't have that kind of cash, it is going to be really, really difficult. But for a permanent resident, it is very easy. There's no stress. You just go to the hospital, get the baby, you eat all the food in the hospital. That is what happened with my second born. But with my firstborn, I was on a student visa. Apparently I wasn't on a student visa. I was on a temporary visa, and I had the same insurance that I had been with for 3 years, so they had to cover all my expenses 100%. Now, let's say you've you've gotten yourself pregnant, and where do you start? First of all, you go to your GP or your general practitioner. You go to the GP and of course explain to them that you feel that you're pregnant, or you think you're pregnant, or whatever you think you feel. And the doctor of course will be able to question you, do some questioning. When was your last day of menstrual period? All that kind of nice questions. And then of course the doctor will test you. You'll be given a container to bring urine, and the doctor will test, and once the doctor determines that you're pregnant, he's going to now ask you to do some antenatal blood tests. And before he goes to the test, he will ask you, do you want to keep the pregnancy or do you want to get rid of the pregnancy? That's the question I was asked with my first pregnancy, and I was surprised that the doctor could ask me that. Anyway, my second one, no one asked me that. Now, once you do the antenatal testing, the blood test, they'll test your urine to see if you have any infection, UTIs, because if you have UTIs, it might affect the baby. If you have STIs, it might affect the baby, because of course that's the same way that the baby, the uterus is up there, and the cervix. So of course they want to see, do you have any infections that could either harm you or the baby at this very important time that you're pregnant, the 9 months period. So once the doctor takes care of that, they're going to test all your iron, your vitamin D, because now remember, you're pregnant, you're going to share every nutrient in your body with this baby. Your vitamin D, if you have dark skin like me, the possibility of you having low vitamin D is very high, especially if you happen to fall pregnant when it's winter, or your pregnant falls around the time that is winter, because during winter we rarely spend time outside the sun, so your vitamin D definitely goes down. And even if you eat enough or you think you're eating foods rich in vitamin D, sometimes it is never enough for you and the baby, because now you're sharing. Now then they are going to check your calcium, your iron levels, and this is the time that you need to eat really healthy. Avoid alcohol, avoid drugs, avoid all those things that could harm your baby. And of course the doctor is going to tell you all this. They are going to question you, how is your living, how many alcohol bottles of alcohol do you take. They will try and explain to you the dangers that might come with you drinking during the pregnancy. Now once you've finished with the doctor, now the doctor might give you such, or if the doctor doesn't give you such a folder, the doctor will give you the number that to call, which is SA Pregnancy Referral Line. And this is if you're in South Australia. So the number you will call, and once you call that number, basically what you're doing is reporting yourself to be pregnant, because I think they take records of the people that are pregnant, and again it is you're telling them you're pregnant so that they can know where to put you to the hospital that you can go to, because you cannot just wake up and go to a hospital that you like. You have to call this number and report yourself, so that depending on where you live, they will decide which hospital to refer you to. So once they've referred you to the hospitals the hospital that is closer to you where you live, then you will have to call the hospital, or they will refer you to the hospital, and the hospital will give you a client. Now you have a client number and a hospital number. So every time you make a phone call to the hospital, you have to give them the client number and the reference number, so that they can identify you. You're going to make a booking with the doctors and the midwives. So you'll have to start the antenatal. Officially now you'll have to start the antenatal visits to the hospital. And of course, the visits, I can't remember exactly how the visits were, how often, but what I remember is that the visits were so many. And so you have to go for the visits. There are so many nice doctors, gynecologists, obstetricians, there are midwives, and there are so many people that are ready to help you. And then once you start now the antenatal visits, they are going to the obstetrician will write for you, will ask you to have a CT scan, sorry, not an ultrasound of the abdominal ultrasound, to check how the baby is progressing, to check how you are, and at some point they will ask you to do a test to see if your baby has Down syndrome or any or disability, specifically Down syndrome. This one I've found it to be optional. For me, I didn't do the test for both of my children, because I didn't want to know if they have disability or they don't. I just didn't want to know. I just wanted to receive my babies as they are. So this is up to you to whether to do the test or not, and it comes at a cost. You have to pay $500 to do the test. The doctors, they'll just give you a form to go and book, and then it's up to you. Once you've done that, then now it's the regular visits. At 28 weeks, you will be asked to do a glucose tolerance test to see if you have gestational diabetes. Once they find out you have gestational diabetes, again the antenatal visits increase, because you have to go for training. They'll train you what to eat, what not to eat, what portions to eat, what to reduce, what to increase. There are so many intensive and intense training. And then what I liked again is they give you a blood glucose monitor, so that you can monitor yourselves while at home. And then once you monitor yourself, the monitor is connected to the hospital, so the results go straight to the hospital. And once they think that it is going way above, they'll call you and ask you to go to the hospital, and they might give you the metformin, or if yours are really resistant, you will have insulin injections. So the pregnancy continues. And before I forget, if you're on a student visa, you're going to be buying the test kits. So they'll give you the blood glucose monitor with some kits and some prickers, but then they are not so many. They'll give you for maybe few weeks, maybe 4 weeks, and then for the rest of the weeks you need to buy. If you're on a student visa, you don't have subsidy. So once you go to the chemist, everything is full price. But if you're a permanent resident, at least you get reduced prices for the prickers and the test kits. All right, so you just continue with the antenatal visits, and then at some point now you start discussing. The doctors and the midwives start discussing with you how you're going to give birth. They ask you for your opinion, and of course you give your opinion, what you want. And remember, they just follow what you want. As long as it is the right thing, they are happy. If you want to give birth in the hospital, well and good. If you want to give birth at home in the bathtub, well and good. But I don't know the dynamics of if you want to go give birth at home. I don't know what happens, because I haven't tried. So what I only know is if I want to give birth to the hospital, so you're told when to come to the hospital. You're encouraged to stay home. If you're giving birth naturally, you're encouraged to stay home until you get stronger contractions, because if you go to the hospital, there's nothing you're going to do. So you're encouraged, so you have to keep on calling the hospital once you get the labor. If you want to go for electives, yes, they again talk to you about the C-section, the dangers, the cons and the pros and cons. They ask you when you want to have it, and they're happy to for you to go on with the CS if that's what you want. And then With the delivery also, you also discuss about the epidural, if you want epidural or not. You also discuss that with the doctors and the midwives, and they are really, really happy to support you with whatever you want. And then you also have to discuss, they also ask you questions about domestic violence. If your partner is abusing you, they'll ask you where you live, how is the state of your living, how is your mental state. They'll give you some surveys to fill and tell them how your mental state is and how you're feeling. Yeah, and that's all. And once you've given birth, again, you'll have midwives come to your house 3 times before your baby is 8 weeks. So the midwives will come, check where you stay, check the weight of the baby, check the mother is doing fine mentally, check if there's any domestic violence, and they will encourage you to seek help if you need. They'll also encourage you to, they'll show you how to do breastfeeding. You will go for breastfeeding classes. That one I forgot. They also offer classes on breastfeeding. They offer classes on how to take care of your baby. They also offer classes and lessons on how to take care of your mental health and your well-being. And so there's so much that is available for pregnant women and for people that are planning to get pregnant in Australia. And if by any chance you get yourself that you're pregnant, there's so much help, there's so much that is there for you. And the other thing, sometimes you might get pregnant and you don't have any support system. I find that it is very nice that you find people or your community that can support you, because to be honest, being pregnant in Australia can be really challenging, because if you have to go to school, if you have to go to work, you have to pay bills. Life doesn't stop because you've gotten pregnant. It is really challenging and it can be very daunting. What I think and I would say would work and has worked for me is actually if you feel that you're on the edge, look for help. There's so much help. There's so much therapy that can be offered here, free, especially if you're a student. You can go for sessions and just speak out. Just open your heart, and someone is there and is happy to listen to you. I find sometimes that they offer free food at the community centers. If perhaps you don't have any food, you don't have anyone to bring you anything to eat, you don't have money maybe to buy groceries, they offer free food at the community centers. You might just need to look around at where you live and the community centers around you. Also, going to church might also be very helpful. Go to church. So the communities are really, especially at church, they are really happy and always happy. They are always open to helping people if you need help. So guys, I'm going to leave this video at that point. I hope I have explained everything. I hope I haven't left anything out, and I hope this video is going to be helpful to someone. If you know anyone that might benefit from this video, please kindly share the video with them. Thank you so much for watching this video from the beginning to the end, and I hope this video is going to impact someone positively. So guys, if you have not subscribed, kindly I ask you to subscribe to this video, to this channel, to support me and support this channel grow. Anyway guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.